So today we're joined by two representatives from Annabelle's Challenge, Jared and Christina, the founder and patient coordinator. Hello and welcome to RVR Radio, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Jared, I'll come to you first. For anyone that's not heard of Annabelle's Challenge before, can you tell us a bit about the charity and why it was set up?
Yes, so back in December 2012, my daughter Annabelle, who was 3 at the time, was diagnosed with a rare genetic condition called Vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. For short, it's called Vascular EDS. It's a rare, life-limiting genetic disorder. But what sort of got the challenge going is back then she was the youngest in the UK to be diagnosed with the condition, which threw the clinic out really in terms of coming across with that diagnosis. And soon after we started Annabelle's Challenge, and that's where it came from.
Christina, I'll come to you first on this question. How is lockdown affecting the vascular EDS community?
So we've had a couple of sort of queries. A couple of people have contacted, about concerns. There's a few people who I know are shielding. We had one person in particular who was struggling for food. Luckily we have a strong database full of feds people, and they've offered to volunteer for us. So I've helped facilitate that, and hopefully that'll help them. And I think a large bit is, the kids, they don't know what to do to keep them entertained. So that's how we've come up with the idea to do a Red Feds Day TikTok and a colouring competition. So, and then obviously the big thing is that we've been doing is the regional support groups. So we matched before lockdown. We matched people by regions, and then I've recruited some coordinators to help run the groups. And we did the first one in East Anglia, which was a great success. But now we've had to switch virtually. But hopefully, when it's safe to do so, we can go ahead again with that. But it's just sort of, I think a lot of people are needing the support, so that's where the virtual groups have really come in handy to, help people like that.
Jared, is shielding a must for someone with vascular EDS?
Only if they've got other underlying health conditions, but the majority of vascular EDS patients, they're just advised to stick to the stay home policy and isolate where necessary if there's any concerns or symptoms. But in general, they don't fall into the highly vulnerable group, which, whilst that's good to hear that they're not highly at risk, the downside to it is they don't tick the boxes in terms of home delivery for food for those that are isolating or shielding. So that's been a bit of a challenge.
And Jared, just one more question before I go back to Christina. We know that Annabelle's Challenge were active in the community, throughout Bury. How has that changed since the lockdown?
I can only describe it as we were going at 100 miles an hour both locally and nationally to suddenly stopping in our tracks, and we've just come out of our best year last year in terms of raising income for the charity, which was going towards some research projects. But locally, the things like Bury Pride, we're big supporters of that, and that had to be postponed. We had a conference planned this very weekend, and we were going to use the East Lancs Railway on the Sunday to take the families out for an excursion. So it's been really dramatic in terms of really going for it, and then that's it. You stay at home, and we've had to adapt as well. We don't use the office anymore. We're working from remote locations to carry on doing what we can as best we can.
Christina, you took the role of patient coordinator quite recently. This is a two-part question, really. How did you get involved with Annabelle's Challenge, and then what is your role day-to-day as the patient coordinator?
So basically, I've been volunteering for the charity since the start. Annabelle and Jared and Sarah are family friends. I've known them my whole life. So I used to just volunteer and do like the fundraising events and stuff like that. And then Jared asked me one day if I wanted to take on the role, because get someone trustworthy in to help the VEDS community. So then that takes me to my role now. So that basically I cleanse the database. So when we, which making it ready for research, because a lot of it was, had like bits missing.
Yeah.
And then just recently, like I said before, we've started the regional support groups to help people meet each other and support each other with vascular EDS. So yeah, that's my role, and obviously, and I help patients if they need any, advice or, and also if referrals to the 2 clinics that we have, the specialist clinics for vascular EDS, I refer them to there, and just making sure that everything's all right, and if they need anything from us as a charity.
Just another question on virtual working and stuff. How different have you found it from working from home to being in the office?
I mean, it is difficult because, we usually have each other to sort of, if I have any questions or anything like that, I can speak to Jared, but, he's sort of got me in training well. So if I need to be speaking to patients and stuff on the phone, it's okay now because I know, I feel confident and to do that. But luckily we've found Zoom, so we've been able to communicate through that. So yeah, it's not been too bad in that respect because we're constantly in contact, me and Jared, updating each other, and Jared gets updates from the 2 clinics and then he'll update me. So yeah.
Jared, it's Reds for Veds Day next Friday. Can you tell us a bit about what Reds for Veds Day is?
It was something that we established 5 years ago to try and raise the profile of vascular EDS, because there was then and still is now May EDS Awareness Month for all types of EDS, but we just wanted a particular way of shouting about vascular EDS. So the co-founder alongside me is called Evie, and she's from Ireland. We just came up with an awareness campaign, and the hashtag that came out of that was Reds for Veds. 4 being type 4 EDS was in there, so it fitted in well. And on the first year, we just encouraged people to wear something red and take a selfie or a school shot or a group shot at work, share it with a hashtag, and we pick it up on Twitter, Facebook, and now Instagram. But in the last 2 years, it's actually moved on, not just from a social media aspect, but people are raising funds off the back of it for the charity. So we sell merchandise now with Red for Veds on it. Last year, Jesse Lingard shared his picture on his Instagram with millions of followers that he's got, so it's gaining momentum. So this year we celebrate 5 years, and it's the one thing that COVID-19's not got us on. We can do it bigger and better this year because everybody's at home, or most of them, so it'll be a good year this year.
So you talk about how it's going to be different this year. Obviously, everybody's going to be at home to celebrate Reds for Veds Day. How's it going to be different this year?
I think it'll be different in terms of they can't really be doing the face-to-face fundraising that they would have done in the previous years. So what we've encouraged them to do this time is just to focus on the raising awareness from a social media aspect. So get the pictures in, get involved with TikTok challenge, colouring competition, and later in the year when restrictions hopefully get lifted, then you can go back and do your fundraising. So I think we've been really mindful that our income has dramatically dropped now, but we've still got to support the community, and what they can do in return is raise the awareness. So Reds for Veds fits really well into that.
And something that I noticed on your Facebook page is that you're going to have a Reds for Veds Zoom party. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Oh, God knows how that's going to work, but we're going to give it a go. I think the idea is that we encourage everybody across the globe to dial in at probably 4 p.m. British Standard Time for those out there, and basically just to drop into the Zoom call showing that they're wearing red, and just have a good old catch up. So hopefully it's something we've never done before, so we'll see how it goes. Throughout the day, we'll be sharing pictures as they come through on all the free social media accounts, and we're looking forward to seeing the TikToks if somebody's willing to do some.
Brilliant. You had Leah Minsell took part in the 2.6 challenge this weekend, which was something set up, I believe, on behalf, something to do with the London Marathon and the 26 miles there. She made and baked treats, donating to 26 places for Annabelle's challenge, and she said on her Just Giving page that she wanted to do that because we want the charity to carry on to give the support that it needs. You must receive many donations throughout the year. Can that be overwhelming at times?
It can be quite touching when you see what people do get up to in terms of their fundraising efforts and the challenges that they get involved with, which we would sometimes we've never thought of, and when it comes through, it's really touching. And in particular, Leah this week and last week with the baking the cakes, not only did she double the target and raise vital funds for us and some awareness, but she was visiting like care homes and dropping cakes off there. Last drop was the ambulance station for the crews at Bury. So it's very much been a very local community effort that she's put in there, but also raised vital funds for us. So a double whammy, and top out. She's a great volunteer for the charity.
Christina, you touched on it earlier about or you both touched on it, in fact, actually, about the TikTok challenge that you've set up. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so we thought, especially a massive thing that has come to our attention in the VEDS community is about the parents wanting the kids to be entertained. So we thought, what a great idea, because all the kids are into TikTok at the moment. It's all they seem to be on. So we thought, well, why not try and set off a trend with a TikTok, and you wear red and you follow the TikTok that we've set up, and just to raise awareness, basically, and just whilst having something fun to do. So it was my family and myself who set off the first one. I just quickly popped down to the storage and got the Toby the bear, our mascot, out, and then we basically just set that up. And I must admit, it was so fun to do. Like I expected it to go so much differently. So hopefully we'll get a few people sort of joining in and have a nice time, sort of bringing out a positive thing out of such a not positive situation that we're all in.
Indeed. Finally, Jared, if people want to volunteer their services after COVID-19's over, or just want to donate a bit of spare money, how can they do that?
I think to visit our website at annabelleschallenge.org or via our social media accounts, because there's ways that they can donate through there. But in terms of volunteering, yes, as soon as we've got a movement on these restrictions, then it'd be good to get more volunteers involved, especially in our hometown of Bury. We hopefully will get back to doing events again, and hopefully one day Pride will be put back in the diary, which we'll support. And again, we'd want volunteers to join us on that in the parade and on the East Lancs if that comes to fruition again.
Brilliant. Jared, Christina, thanks very much for your time. Stay safe, and we'll hopefully catch up again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Cheers.
See ya.